My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
And welcome to the end of the regular season, Judd's Hockey Show on a Tuesday. So it's Judd, Jessi Pierce, of course, from Bardown, Beauties, NHL.com, and also AJ Fredrickson. As always, plenty to get to. But before we get to the topics at hand, I want to talk about a great restaurant to start at if you are going to a Wild game. And that is, of course, our friends at Parlor Bar right down West 7th for a great experience. It is a place where you are going to get, yes, you can get the famous Parlor Burger. May I recommend, though, the in my opinion, first line winger, which is the chicken sandwich, which is absolutely fantastic as well. They have a special pregame meal. So if you're going down there, that starts, or I should say menu available 3 hours before game time. So check them out, Parlor, right down West 7th. If you're going to, let's say, a Wild playoff game, assuming they make the playoffs, it would be a great place to start your evening. All right, Jessi Pierce, let's get to it. You were at practice. Zeev Buium from Denver. He's in, he's signed, he's set to make his debut tonight. And what's the latest?
He's not making his debut tonight. He will be up in the press box making his debut with you, Judd. Yes, Zeev did sign. Obviously, disappointing outcome for the Pioneers, not advancing to that championship game. He was up for the Hobie. He stayed for the Hobie and made his official signing Sunday. Day off, Monday practice. But the team is healthy, guys. The Minnesota Wild are fully healthy. Jared Spurgeon back in the lineup, Jake Middleton back in the lineup. So you have a fully healthy roster. John Merrill and Zach Bogosian have been two of the defensemen that have gotten you to this point. They've had to play heavier minutes, so give them the nod. Plus, the Minnesota Wild still not officially in the playoffs. If the Minnesota Wild had put themselves in position to, say, beat Calgary or beat Vancouver and get those points, sorry, they did beat Vancouver. If they had beaten Calgary, then Zeev would play without question. That's not the case. So that's why Zeev, we'll need to take a collective breath. AJ, I know it's been very hard for you, but it's okay. It's okay.
So is the plan not to play him in the playoffs then? If that healthy? And I do struggle, just to be very clear, I struggle with John Merrill. He has played a lot, but a year ago he was unplayable. And let's not act like this club is playing well. Like, that's the thing too. Let's not act like, oh my God, they have cleaned up on teams. And like, this is a team that I don't think would be out of line to at least say, we've got this really good young player and we've got this old guy that plays a lot. I think there's some confusion. Like, I feel like it's being bought into that, oh, John Merrill's done this and that. Jessi, you are among those of us who have not been in his fan club.
It's fine. I think, it would have been fun. Here's how everybody wins if they had done an 11-7 situation, right? You get to do John Hines' loyalty to his defenseman. Yeah. You get to see Zeev. You get to get rid of one of those nothings on the fourth line.
I'd scratch Trennan. After that stunt he pulled, punching a guy on the ice, I'd scratch. What use? Yeah. I mean, other than a meaningless goal against the Flames, oh, goody, it's 4-1. What use is the guy? Like, don't tell me. I mean, that punch was stupid. I think, and here's the thing too, you guys, that they are not taking into account. Brazeau, much improved against the Canucks. Why? Because they scratched him. I think Brazeau and Trennan should be scratched every game, alternately, to light a fire under them, because both of them need a fire under their asses. You're right, Jessi. 11-7 would have made perfect sense. Get Trennan in the press box. He should be suspended. He won't be, but he should be.
Yeah. Back to the original question. However, it doesn't. I love it. So is everybody else in my Twitter mentions. Again, it's fine. It is okay. It didn't help that Tim Washy is debuting for the Anaheim Ducks on the other side of the ice.
Do they know what they're doing though? Like we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, like they know what they're doing, and they barely are here. Like, this is, I really struggle with saying, well, the team says this. So now I'll say this. As a reporter, you are doing your job. So you're relaying what, and I totally get that. You, Russo, Sarah. So it's not your jobs to take what they say and dispute it necessarily. But I also think that when the fan bases or some of the fans are like, well, John Merrill's played a lot. Well, goody. Has he played well? Are these guys, have they clinched a playoff spot? No. So that's my 2 cents.
We digress. But is there a possibility he plays in the playoffs? Maybe, right? I mean, you can never say never. And I think John Hines as the politician he can be, right, had said you're trying to look at the best situation for the team and for the player. Now, again, Zeev Buium hasn't had a full practice under his belt. Monday wasn't optional. There were maybe 7 guys out there, including himself. So there's also that to be considered. I mean, and as it gets later, do you burn this year of his contract or do you not? And that depends on whether he plays, right?
But once
isn't it?
I don't know that.
Once you sign, you burn the year.
I think you burn the year with the signing, right? Age, is that correct?
That's my understanding of it. Because otherwise,
I'll Google that right now. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I feel like there was a game stipulation though.
Oh, hold on a second.
If so, then I guess there's an actual conversation there. My feeling is like Judd seems hot about this. I'm more in the boat of like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed because I feel like I've backed like being skeptical about the Hines hiring to begin with, but like slowly coming around and like placing a lot of trust and realizing like reactionary coach. I feel like he's got a good grasp on things based on what Judd sort of has said too. And it's very obvious, like they have not been the most defensively stout team the past 2 weeks. It's not like you're breaking up this, Great Wall of China in front of the goaltender. They're leaky. They're very leaky defensively. That's where it feels so silly. And, you didn't see enough at practice. He didn't get a full practice. Well, what you saw, did you have like super dark, pitch black tinted sunglasses on and you couldn't see anybody on the ice? Because I feel like as soon as you see him in person, you're going to realize he's a better asset. Even like what you have, like the hesitations defensively about him, I feel like it's just an automatic upgrade. John Merrill, for what his skill level is, and I've said this a bunch of times, he's been playing decent hockey this season based on like who he is as a player. Right now, when you are in a must-win situation, especially going into the playoffs, presumably, I know it's like a 97% chance that they make it now, so it's almost a sure thing, but there still leaves that tiny little window. You want to leave no doubt. I feel like putting Buium in the lineup helps leave no doubt. It's an upgrade that says we want to win. We realize he's more talented. He helps us immediately. So that it like, I guess because I've backed them all this year, I'm going to have to just trust them and, sure, they probably have a good reasoning behind it. But if it's solely just for like, he's been here the entire time. You know what you do? Just like every other job, you give him a watch. You give him like a clock to display at home. Thanks. You've been a loyal servant. If you want to win, you say, John, you have a hard conversation. We're going to go with the young kid. We're going to go with the 19-year-old. That's to me a team that wants to win. But if they really genuinely behind the scenes feel like he offers more defensively and helps them win, I can hear the argument. I'm just more the past 48 hours, maybe the writing was on the wall because they didn't have him like hustle to get here after they lost. They let him sit, do the Hobie Baker award ceremony, kind of say goodbyes and take the time before actually meeting up with the team. Maybe it was the writing on the wall, but it felt like the past 48 hours or whatever from the weekend, it was just Zeev. It's Zeev time. And now that we're hearing he's not in the lineup, it's just more of a blow because I think the excitement level for a lot of fans was so high.
Yeah, and I'm not hot about him so much as I just question the choices of either playing Merrill or I actually like it, and it would be a bit unorthodox, but the 11-7 I actually love because I think that Trennan or Brazeau. I mean, Brazeau started to play well. I saw against the Canucks because he showed up and tried. I mean, that's not playing well. That's just showing up and trying. Okay, so they are now healthy. Middleton's back. Spurgeon's back from what sounds like a very scary thing, huh? He got.
It was an elbow, not a puck.
Oh, okay.
Not a puck. So he did clarify that it was an elbow, and that's why he was able to finish the shift. He did finish his shift, he said, and then once the whistle blew, he stopped, and he all of a sudden felt very dizzy. Things started to get really blurry. Kind of lost his balance, and he realized something was not okay. So he said it was definitely a scary situation. It happens. He's happy that it's recovered. He feels fine now, but yeah, pretty scary. Not quite as much as the Brock Faber situation when he took that puck, where it really closed kind of immediately, but very similar.
Frightening. So as far as the mood goes now, so because the Flames game on Friday was a disaster, it was a complete no-show. Saturday, I thought that they actually competed. The third period, I was really impressed. what do you think the mood is here? And do you think they care who they play in the first round? Possibly what, the Jets or Golden Knights? Or at this point, is that just an afterthought to actually finally potentially clinching a playoff berth Tuesday night against the Ducks?
It has to be an afterthought. You don't have the luxury to decide. I mean, you can control your destiny to this point where you win and you're in, and that's great. Why? You don't want to. I hate getting in based on how another team performs, right? I hate getting in just because St. Louis loses, or it's gross. You don't deserve to be in the playoffs then. If that's how you're going to have to do it, you don't deserve it. But I think it's winning in, and that's the focus. It should be, because again, they put themselves in this position. It doesn't matter who you have to go through in that first round, just get there. I feel tense, so I feel like I feel tension around the team, but that's just because I feel a little tense, because it is, you hate to be in this situation. It is the final game. You can only do your part and win. But John Hynes said that they're approaching it with the mentality of, it's just one shift, it's one game, it's just another game. They can do this. Jared Spurgeon had said he loved the way they played in that third period against Vancouver, which is the period that they decided to show up for. So if they can use that same aggression, play simple hockey, play north to south, all the things, guys, that were working when this team was in top three, they were top three in the NHL because they were doing those very simple things. They should be fine. Again, Anaheim is a good team. They're a good young team, not dissimilar to the San Jose Sharks, if not a little bit better. Plus, they've got better goaltending. So it's not necessarily going to be easy. Anaheim's not just going to lay down for them in that respect, but you got to be ready from the drop of the puck without question. There's another cliche for you.
Yeah, puck's deep. Puck's deep. That's my favorite.
Puck's deep. Puck's the neck. Yeah.
Do we have any idea, like when you talk to guys now, and I know that they probably don't want to discuss it, but do we have any idea what's transpired here as far as these? And it feels like it's a second half of the season and more of late, Jess, with these just terrible performances. Islanders game, right? Calgary game. Like the Canucks game, I was frustrated a bit, but it was not terrible. But like, what is, I guess I can't get my head around this. You're playing for to get in. Like, you can clinch a playoff spot in Calgary, right? Calgary is going to be, a feisty team. I don't think they're a great team, but they're feisty. Do these guys have any idea what happens? Because it is just like, it's one thing to play a good game and get beat. It's going to happen. That's fine. It's another to have these weird pop-up games where they're really, really critical games, and it's like you are not there. I think it's such a maddening thing, because it just seems so counterproductive to what the goal is and what these guys talk about as the goal all the time, starting with John Hynes.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've asked Hynes about that, because they're just these random one-offs where maybe it is a blowout even too. You go back to some of those games where the team seemed to be a no-show, and Hynes keeps calling it uncharacteristic. But my question is, how many uncharacteristic games can there be before it's a trait of yours? It is a characteristic by definition, right? Because that's kind of it. It's like, well, this isn't uncharacteristic anymore because it continues to happen. And yes, it's sporadic, if you will, sometimes. And it seems to happen in the games where they are more important, especially down this last stretch of the season. You needed that win against the Islanders. You needed that win against Calgary. I would have loved to have been a fly in that locker room during that closed door meetings. I don't know that there were enough closed door meetings necessarily this year after losses like that, but I know it was a very long closed door meeting following that Calgary loss, as it should have been. I think Matt Zuccarello does a nice job relaying his frustrations on behalf of the team, and I know he had some curt words following Friday's loss, but I don't know how you change it. At the end of the day, that's part of their identity, I fear, and that's concerning. The only shining light is that they've still managed to put themselves in positions where playoff is still in the conversation. Last year this happens, it's not the same, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. Age, go ahead.
I mean, I would say also the only thing there is, it feels like for as many games that they maybe just no-show like that against middle of the pack to lower teams, whether it's a Calgary who's still vying for a playoff spot, or it's San Jose who's completely out of it, but they just can't seem to do anything about it. They rise to the occasion at times too. Like, you gotta remember, they beat the Capitals. They've beaten the Avalanche here a couple times, especially come from behinds on the road. So it's being healthy now. At least that's what they say. When they play their game, they are able to rise and match some of these stiffer competition type teams. So there is kind of that two side of it. It's just really frustrating that when it seems like the chips are set for them, the meal is all prepped, they just can't necessarily get the food into their mouth and start chewing. They just want to spit it. It's all over them. It's a giant mess. And then it's, well, it's okay. Like, soup's not our thing, but tomorrow night when it's like sandwiches, that's when we're better. It's like, well, let's just start eating the food, guys. Like, it's right there. It's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hungry for points.
Yeah. Not hungry enough at times, though.
Well,
Not hungry
yeah.
enough.
Well, and that's where the Flames game was so weird, because that game was so important. And I mean, this could all be, I mean, if they win that game, Fleury starts on Saturday, because he obviously wouldn't have to go into the Calgary game. Tonight, Zeev can debut. So, Jessi, I ran this by AJ on the show yesterday, and I want to get your thoughts. And I'm going to start this the same way I did with Age, by saying this is not a criticism of this player, okay? It's an observation. Do you think at any point in the rest of the season, or in the playoffs, I'm going to assume that they make it, since this is the last game of the regular season night, do you think at any point Kirill gets back to being Kirill? And by that, I mean, he is still, when the dude plays, he is a great player. But, you watch the skating, and I mean, he had surgery, and the mind is still there. The passing at times, I mean, that 3-on-3 with Zuki was fantastic, but you can just tell, like in battles on the boards, things like that, he's not able to do what he can do ordinarily. What's your thought process about, because there's a chance it doesn't come back until next season, but what's your thought about where his game is at and how far he could potentially take his game this spring, assuming that they can make somewhat of a playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? And we kind of all saw this coming potentially for Kirill. The man missed more than 20 games. He missed 2 months, right? I mean, it was a long time. So it's to be expected. I'm not disappointed. And I agree with you, Judd. It's an observation, though, right? Like, it's still, Kirill at 90% is better than half of the league. So I think it's okay. But yeah, I don't foresee it coming back until he has time to build that back. And that's going to take the offseason. That's going to take training camp, I think. I would be shocked if you see that 100% Kirill by the end of the season, whenever that may come, whether that's, after the first round of the playoffs, what have you. I just think it's going to be a real challenge for him to get back up to that speed, especially because you're returning from this injury that kept you out for so long during the hardest part of the season. Correct. In the playoffs, especially when your opponents know to be shutting you down. They're going to be gunning for you. Things are harder. Things are tighter out there. So it's going to be hard for him to be able to find his game amongst that. Had he come back in January, different story, right? Sure, he would have had that time to build. He's got a couple games in between. Plus, you have the time, too. Now that the playoffs are here, you've got a little bit of time in between games, but he also hasn't had too much rest in between since he's returned. So I don't think you will see that October, November Kirill that was in that Calder, or not, excuse me, Calder. He already won the Calder. In the
Calder,
Hart,
all that good stuff.
In really good hockey player. In that Hart conversation again. Hopeful, obviously, come training camp next year, though.
Do the lines stay the same tonight, or are they going to go back to Zuccarello and Kaprizov together?
As of now. See, this is where it gets hard, because we always ask John Hines. I think we need to ask him in a different way, because we always will say same forward group, which in my mind means the same forward lines. I think John Hines truly takes that as, yep, it's the same forwards in the lineup. I am reading it. Yes, exactly. I submitted my lines for my line heathens, and I put the same lines together that we saw in Vancouver. So Kaprizov and Zuccarello still on separate lines there. Ek, Boldy, and Kirill on that top line.
Can they take you in the room and just show you the board, which you got a shot of, I don't know how, a couple of weeks ago? Can they just show you the line chart, and then, you know what, all questions are answered?
That's all I need. Like, I don't care about anything else. Really don't.
And what are you going to do? Like,
but the people need it.
Talk to you guys. Just show me the board.
Like, the Ducks are going to find out. If the Ducks find out what our line combos are, this we don't know what's going to, come on. Age, go ahead.
It is always, you always get those coaches on the opposing team too that I always double check with, like, their media. Like, is he going to tell me, or is he going to look at me like I have four heads for asking him what the lines are? And they'll be like, he'll tell you watch warm-ups, or he'll tell you this. Like, who cares? No one cares. I know.
It's the most ridiculous thing. It's the most.
So we know how right about things Jessi is, like, all the time. We know this is a fact.
We give her credit.
Constantly right. So you're thinking Marco Rossi stays on the third line. What's the feeling you're getting maybe in the locker room about his play as of late, because he has taken a dip. But similar to kind of what I've harped on about the Buium versus Merrill thing, I think Rossi versus Gaudreau, skill-wise, Rossi does bring more to the table. Gaudreau works his ass off, so I think he earns his spot in the lineup. I just don't know necessarily for a team that is saying, hey, we just got to play our game, and, it's a must-win, you win and you're in type of mindset. Rossi, at least center number 2, feels like the better move, but expecting him still at line 3?
Yes, at least to start. Again, we know John Hines isn't there, but I do think so. And I think what that might also come down to is their face-off percentages. I was looking up this a little bit ago. Freddie Gaudreau's been stronger at the dot and than most of any of the centers too, right? So especially as of late. So I think that's possibly what that comes down to. But we'll see, right? It does feel weird. It feels odd. I'm sure Marco Rossi's not thrilled. And I think he recognizes that he's been kind of struggling as has the entire offensive part of this Minnesota Wild squad, right? He was very short the last home game that they had where he did score. It just felt a little different. Like I think he was kind of feeling a little out of touch with himself. So I'm not sure that this helps when he's on that third line with the gentleman he is, but he'll figure it out. He'll be fine.
All right, let's play a game called The Percentage of. What is now, speaking of Jessi being right a lot, what is the current percentage Marco Rossi is on the Wild roster opening day of training camp next summer? Because people hammered you. People have hammered you to be like, they can't trade him. And I don't want to trade him, just to be clear. But you're not saying that you want to. You've just said, I got a feeling he's going to be traded. So what's the percentage now that he's going to be on the roster?
46% that he stays. I think
that's pretty good.
So
that's
we're under 50.
More than I thought.
It's not bad. Yeah, I don't, because again, it has to be the right asking price. But the way that you're seeing this decline, I don't want to say I was right, but I was right. And I never wanted to trade him. It wasn't a matter of like, I don't like this player. People confuse that. They take that narrative and spin it.
I think where you confuse people, and I do too, is there are certain guys that you want to trade.
Yes.
And you talk about that. Rossi's not one. He's one from your reporter hat being on, I feel like. That your assessment is. But I think where folks get confused is you've also said John Merrill out of here, Trennan gone. So those guys are guys that you want to trade, which, by the way, again, I agree with you. But Rossi
I don't want to trade them. I just don't want them in the roster. Like, that's how I'll put those in there. Like, I just don't want them on the roster. I don't care by what means. Just get rid of them. Like,
the word is jettison, Jessi. Jettison them. Jettison them. Exactly. Hey, Jessi, it's gorgeous outside. The hockey playoffs are here, which means that it's time to go golfing. Tell me about how Swing Lab can help that golf game.
Swing Lab Performance Golf Center in Lakeville has you covered for when it's a little cold. I'm not a big fan of spring golf because it's wet, it's cold. I'm not ready to get out on the links, but I can go into Swing Lab, work on my swing, work on my golf club fittings, make sure my clubs are all set to hit the courses come this summer. I couldn't be more happy. Not to mention they've got food, they've got beer, buckets of beer even, you guys, which is my favorite. Swing Lab Performance Golf down in Lakeville. Go check them out. Let them know Jessi and Judd's Hockey Show sent you. Make sure you say hello. And again, bucket of beers. That's all I got to say about that.
I love that idea. Oh, bucket of beers is great. Absolutely fantastic.
Bucket of beers.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Hey, and by the way, there's reports out, not confirmed yet, that Bob Motzko, the Gophers coach, is going to be named the U.S. men's coach for the World Junior Hockey Championships as things start to shape up. And I am here to tell you right now, Jessi, AJ, and I can all confirm the World Juniors, absolutely a fantastic tournament. I would argue maybe my favorite tournament among tournaments. It's coming here for 10 days starting December 26th at the X. It is full of absolute stars from around the world, young stars, guys who are future pros, guys who are going to be high draft picks. It runs December 26th through January 5th. But lock in your tickets now. Group play packages are on sale. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. That's worldjuniorsmn26.com. These are 16-game packages for Group A or Group B, prelim games as well as quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze, and gold. Absolutely a great time, and it's going to be here before you know it. So lock in to your seats for the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships 2026.
A couple of those names they showed in that little clip too, in that locker room for the Anaheim Ducks. I'm just saying. That's how good the talent is.
Oh, it's
for
unbelievable.
Team USA. Yeah, incredible.
It's phenomenal. Okay, so the players don't care, or they'll say they don't care. Start with you, Jessi. Who would you prefer to see the Wild play in the first round? The Golden Knights, which they would get if they lock into, I think, the 7th seed, or the Jets if they lock into the 8th seed, which would not be a good thing because I think a win tonight would push them clear of the Blues, right? So the 7th seed is what you're hoping for, but do you have a preference of opponent in the first round?
You know what? You had asked me this a week ago, and I would have said Vegas, and then Vegas is the easy answer. I want Winnipeg. I love the rivalry between them, and this is going to sound insane. Winnipeg is beatable. They are beatable, and I think Minnesota could do that. You go in there and you take even just one of those games in Winnipeg, all of a sudden you're in their head. You get in Connor Hellebuck's head a little bit, you start putting some pucks past him, he comes apart. So as much as people want Vegas, and I get Vegas is probably the more fun, and it doesn't seem quite as scary, I want Winnipeg. Plus, I love that clash. I love the potential of that. Would it be hard? Hell yeah, but it's supposed to be. Let's go have some fun out there. Give me the Winnipeg Jets.
Both are hard too. So yeah.
Both are.
Yes, right. Very true.
You're right.
I think I'm in the same boat. I thought Jessi was going to go Vegas, and I'd have like the differing opinion here, but I've been slowly, I think, shifting towards Winnipeg. If you look at especially like what they're battling injury-wise right now, Gabe Vilardi out, Rasmus Kapari day-to-day, Nikolai Ehlers day-to-day, Colin Miller day-to-day. They're banged up. Like, this is a team that has been very, very good all season long, but now is this, like the Wild have been dealing with it all season long too, and they've absolutely regressed, but like, are they getting healthy now in the perfect time? Is Winnipeg getting hurt at the absolute worst time possible? Hellebuck, it's hard, like Jessi said, it's hard to ignore that he just hasn't been the best postseason performer in his career. And I feel like defensively, like they're a very sound team, but I almost think that depth-wise, they have less depth than what Vegas does for first round. If I had to pick one of those two, I'm going to go Winnipeg. Also, because I think start time-wise, selfishly there, you're going to get more like local start time.
I think we're screwed either way. I think we're screwed.
Definitely are.
We're going to get 8:55 from those jackasses at the lead. 8:30, yeah. 8:30 puck drop. The real time is 8:55. Don't tell anybody. I also think, to extrapolate on what you guys are saying, I also think if you had to choose just one player from both teams, so the Jets or Golden Knights, Eichel's the guy that you don't want absolutely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Jets have some good play. Yeah, and Stone, but I'm saying the Jets have some good players, but like if we were to sit here and come up with a list of guys to avoid, I think it starts with Eichel.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it probably starts with him. And I mean, he's a marvelous. It's 3 for 3. And here's why. Number one, just to be clear, because this is not a show that is based on raging Homer gaslighting crap. But just to be very clear, the Jets will be favored. Okay. So like no one's saying, oh, the Wild's the Jets will be favored, but you're right. Hellebuck is a guy who, until it's proven, has had playoff problems. The other thing is, in a situation like this with a pop-up team, like the Jets were like, I believe preseason predictions, a borderline playoff team, or they might get in the playoffs. I love the team that wins the President's Cup in this case, or trophy, or whatever the hell they call that stupid award for having the most points, which is the most ridiculous thing to pursue. I love this because they have given their all to the regular season, right? And this starts a 2-month trial, especially when you're not an experienced playoff team. This starts a 2+ month like grind season of its own. I think the Jets are far more ripe. Like the Golden Knights have some experience, playoff experience. I feel like the Golden Knights can flip a little bit of a switch. I don't know if the Jets can. Now, I think the Jets could bounce the Wild for sure, but like there is no way on God's green earth that I would pick them to go to the Cup Finals. So yeah, I'm with you guys. Give me the Jets, because if things start to tighten up, you're like, we had 114 points. We won the President's Trophy. Oh no! You start to get so. But the problem is, at the end of the day, no matter who the Wild plays, and this is the same with the Wolves, their biggest opponent is the Wild.
Mm.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. No,
like if you show up, gritty, grimy, score some goals, but this team, and what's so disappointing is the first half of the season, I thought this team was past that, Jess. I really did. The first half, I was so impressed. And look, they're going to be in the playoffs because of that start. Like, this is what a 2023-24 was the poster child of a bad start buries you. 2024-25 is the poster child of, oh my God, we collapsed and we still made the playoffs. So, but I really thought that they were past that. And I think no matter who they play in the playoffs, the real question is which Wild team is going to show up for every single game. Not one or two, not three, but every single game. And unfortunately, I can't tell you. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, it's a tale of two seasons this year. Like, frankly, their first half is a completely different team, completely different season from the second half and what we've seen. And it's frustrating to watch. It's hard to watch at times, but also it's kind of like, well, this is what I saw. That first part of the season, that first team, I loved it. They surprised the hell out of me, though. Like, I was not expecting that. I was expecting what we're witnessing right now. So they're lucky they had that first team, but they haven't shown me enough as of late to say that, yep, we can be those guys again, because they're not. They're just simply not even fully healthy, because they're not fully healthy. They're not all at 100%. So even while, yes, you have the healthy roster, it's not the case. So it's concerning. Again, I think that's why I'm a little on edge, because I don't know what's going to happen. They could very well not win tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. And it wouldn't surprise me as much as it probably should. That's just the reality of where they've put me at mentally. They basically just turned me into a very sad little balloon. I don't know. It took all the air out.
That's really well put. That sounds like a children's book. I was a sad little balloon.
I'm going to write about it. Yeah.
I like that. And look, I know that they have had what could probably be considered an inordinate amount of injuries, but that being said, everyone has them. And Krill being out hurt a lot, but that still doesn't explain these late season games that you didn't show up for. Like there's a lot that can be explained away. You lost your best player. You lost probably your second best. I get all that. But that doesn't mean that you can explain Calgary, the Islanders. Like, you can't explain those things. Like, guys literally didn't work. And so I guess that's what I'm curious is when the playoffs start, because this would not be a huge ask on my part. Can you recapture what you did at the start of the season and execute that in much more intensity every single night? I think the answer is no. I agree with you, but I do not think it's an unreasonable request to say, I need to see you play like that every single night in the playoffs, which is, by the way, 10 times tougher than those games were.
You have to wonder if it's that mental component too, because I think this year they came in pissed off, right? Like, yep, last year was an embarrassment. We know we let everybody down. So they used that as fuel. Whereas now, this second half, when we've been saying the same things, like, oh, yep, it's all this negativity as Brock Favors, blah, blah, blah. Now they're just like, yep, poor us, whatever. We're better than this, but they're not using it to the right fuel. It's going in the wrong gas chamber, if you will. Like, well, so use it to the positivity of like, yep, we're going to show you wrong. Now it's just kind of like, no, you guys are wrong. Like, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. If they don't want to show us the wrong, they just want to tell us. Well, quit telling us and show us.
They've got some tremendous, tremendous players. I'll start by saying that, okay? But that being said, part of this team's, and this started a while back, but part of what drives me crazy, especially in this sport, because this sport is based on just basically guts and guile and being just F you. They got a lot of guys who were raised in like suburbs I mean, that Brock quote drove me nuts. That Brock quote, there's negativity outside. Yeah, you know what? Your response, F you. We're going to beat everybody and we're going to go down fighting, not fighting, but fighting. And instead he's like, there's so much negativity outside here. What did you expect, dude? This ain't Maple Grove.
Just sunshine and rainbows.
This ain't Maple Grove. There ain't no treat tickets after baseball here. Your mom ain't gonna drive you home. That drove me crazy. If I had been a teammate, I would have pinned him up against the wall and said, if you ever say that again, the negativity, one, is deserved, and two, you're a star player, dude. You're a star player. You know what? Because I respect him, and he works his ass off. Like, there is, again, that kid's game is phenomenal. But literally, I think, Jess, I think what you just said nailed it, which is, I think that comment was very sulking and feeling sorry for yourself. And a lot of guys have been hurt. Everybody gets hurt, man. Everybody gets hurt. Doesn't give you nights off. And look, you're tired. Okay, you went to the Four Nations. Okay, which, by the way, should have hardened you.
Always comes in. Always will find a way to talk about
Eriksson Ek playing. Eriksson, I want to show up at the end of season presser and say, do you now regret that guy going to play for Team Sweden? And I told Bill, I saw Bill, and I said, you know what that was? It was a stress reaction, and he broke the damn thing because he went. I told him that. It drives me crazy. Billy's about my age. I ain't going to hold back. I said that was a stress reaction, and that's what happens. In football, it happens all the time if you don't take care of it. But anyway, just have some FU. That's all I want. FU. Yeah, to your game. Just to be clear.
I'm sure if from now until the end of the season, if every single media availability, if every single interaction they have with people that are related to the press was just like, and sure, it would probably make Jesse's job really, really hard, but it was just 1 to 2 word answers, just giant FU. I don't want to talk to you, that type of thing. But they took that energy and it turned out to be wins on the ice. Oh, nobody's going to care. If it ends with a cup,
fans won't care.
No, exactly. Jesse, like I said, have fun with that if that's the case. But
it sounds terrible.
All your grievances about it here on Judd's Hockey Show.
And hockey players won't do that. They're too nice. No. But I want them to be mean when they need to be mean. There's a time to be mean and be mean then. Last thought too, Bill Guerin, GM, Olympics next February, correct, Jessi? For
26, yep.
The U.S. for 26? No Wild players are going. I'm not taking any of my players. I'm leaving every one of them home. None, seriously. Brock's not going. Nobody that I can control is going.
So you're you can't control Ek and Brody.
I can't control Ek, but if Ek goes, I'm gonna take out an insurance policy on that contract, and I'm gonna say, if you go, look, here's the deal. If you get hurt, you ain't coming back for me. You ain't coming back for me.
Marcus could go play for Team Italy.
I seriously would tell them when the season starts, I'd say, I don't want any of you going.
Is he Italian?
And
apparently
that's in
Italy. No. Italy is looking for players, so if you just have to be a certain percentage. We joked about that earlier this year. He's like, I can go play for Italy.
No, tell him not to go. I don't want him going, but Faber I'm not taking. No way. No way. He can, some other slappy from another team that I can wind down. Charlie McAvoy, whose spleen is somewhere in Canada still. Take him. That's all I got.
I do want your rant though. Maybe did you guys see the back and forth between the Kings and Oilers last night?
I saw, yeah.
So they're obviously the first round matchup, ugly. And yes, Darnell Nurse just egregiously tries to kill Quentin Byfield, but Philip Deneau. I think they just have their B squad and trying to hurt us. And Corey Perry, what the F? Excuse my language, but what did you want us to do? Did you not see what has happened the last couple of weeks? What does he want us to do? We're not out here to hurt anybody, but let's move on.
That being said, the play that Darnell Nurse made sort of looked like he was trying to hurt him. So
can that not trying to hurt him? Looks like he was trying to break him in half.
That's great. 10 games, right? 8 games?
Should be. And Darnell Nurse, although they would be doing Edmonton a favor by taking Darnell Nurse out of that lineup. He is so bad. He is horrendous. God.
And if the Wild does not win tonight and St. Louis wins, Calgary has 2 games left. They play tonight again, right? And then they play Thursday?
Against Vegas. Yes. Vegas and LA both resting their players more.
Kings have locked in. So you now have, if you don't win tonight, may the Lord be with you. Because I ain't going to be. I'm serious. If you don't win, if you can't beat the Ducks tonight, may God help you.
In terms of Wild companions, it's God, and then right there, Judd Zolgad.
Sports Dad. Okay, and I'm bailing.
I can see the candle. I can see the candle now.
I hope God stays with you, because I'm out. If you can't beat the Ducks, if you can't beat Zegras and the Ducks tonight, and Johnny Gibson, Jesse's guy, who I'm sure she said hi to.
He's not even here. No, he's hurt.
Oh, heartbreak. Jessi.
I know, it's Ville Uso and Lucas Dosto.
Yeah. Two worthless human beings to Jessi.
I don't even care. Whatever.
All right, kids.
This is going to be the most enthusiastic overtime loss of all time.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, man, yeah.
Just rejoicing, popping
You
bottles.
just need the point.
Yeah, just get a point. Just get a point. All right, kids. See ya. Back probably in a couple of days with another just ranting edition of JHS. Jessi, AJ, Judd, we'll talk to you later.